How's it going, fellas? Welcome back to the Barely Noticed podcast. I am your host, Sick Boy, along with my co-host Crawdaddy.
Hola.
We're on Spotify and YouTube. Listen to us on both of them, but make
Same time.
sure you listen to both of them so that our numbers don't leave from YouTube to Spotify, but don't go from Spotify to YouTube. Play them both. Just listen to us.
Be
Help
better.
us be better. Exactly. Crawdaddy, how you been?
I've had a terrible week. How about you?
He's had a terrible week. Right now, we are just kind of winging it. I think Crawdaddy might have put a few things in our notes that we typically share for each podcast. I have just been too lazy to put stuff in the notes, to be honest with you, and I haven't really had anything where I'm like, oh, I got to put that in the notes. I have a good story for this podcast that was just too long to put in the notes, so I've got some stuff to talk about. I might have to go off the dome a little bit. What do you got, Tyler? Anything? What's been going on?
Well, so you know how I had fall break last week?
Yes, you did. Yep.
On my way back home from my college, my truck broke down. And it didn't fully break down, but pretty much it damn near broken down. And the check engine light came on, the ADS light came on. And anytime I went over 45 miles an hour, it would start shaking like crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to limp it home, only going 45 miles an hour, and I was like 90 miles away. So
Home
that
as in
wasn't fun.
school or your house?
My house.
Okay. So you were already on your way to school, then you had to turn back around to go home.
No, no, I was like coming home.
Oh, you were on your way. Okay, you were on your way
Yeah, it
home,
was
and
last week.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that happened,
So
and it
wait,
was
what
in the
was the
shop.
dealio? What happened?
I I don't know all the car stuff. I just know the speed sensor was messed up, something with the coil, and something else. I just don't remember.
I wish we were car guys to be able to break it down and talk about it, but I know
Yeah,
literally
I
nothing
don't know.
about it, and you don't either. So sucks to
Yeah,
suck.
so that happened on like last Tuesday,
Dang.
and it didn't get fixed till Friday. And when I picked it up Friday, I noticed my license plate was not there and it had been stolen. So that was
What?
a fun surprise. Yes.
They stole it when it was at the shop?
I think it probably happened here at college, knowing where I go to college.
That is true. Tyler had the tailgate stolen off his pickup truck that also happened at school, and then they just weren't satisfied, so they decided to steal your license plate.
I I told my roommate I think they just took it as a trophy. They took the license plate just to show
There
they
must
own
be.
me now.
What if it was your roommates and this whole time, like there's just the tailgate,
Just sitting there.
yeah, sitting in their room and they just have your license plate on the wall?
So yeah, that's a little bit of my terrible week.
That
What
is
score do you got?
unfortunate. Car troubles are among the worst troubles when you have to pay to get the stuff fixed. Your car's not working the way it's supposed to. That is a kick in the nuts.
Yes.
Yeah, that sucks so bad. Now, before we move on, there's three things in our notes. I also see something here that
Oh,
says being chased by the cops.
I can go into that too. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to
you
use
might
some
as well.
pseudonym names. This happens Saturday night.
While you were out
So
with people.
yeah.
Okay.
So okay, there's two pseudonyms. Let's go with Donald. It's Don like there's Donald and then
Okay.
there's Jerry.
Okay.
So I was drinking at this house and Donald was drinking with me. And Jerry had just came into town to like hang out and he was like hadn't been there in a while and Donald wanted to show Jerry his car. So and Jerry hadn't been drinking. So he was like, "Yeah, and take it for a spin or whatever." We take it for a spin. We get to this light and make a U-turn so he can gas it a little bit. He started gassing it and he gets blue lighted. So Donald goes like, "Chill, chill, chill, slow down." And then Jerry goes, "No," and just guns it like
Oh
crazy and
my.
speeds off. I'm
You
in the
were in the
back
car?
seat, by the
Okay.
way.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, it's not like a normal back seat. The one I was sitting on was folded down because there's golf clubs back there, and I was crammed in a corner, so I was like flying all around.
Okay.
He guns it, freaking takes a left into these back streets, takes another right real quick, slides in the dirt, like he goes off the road, like almost loses control, and then we whip it back into the driveway and run inside.
Oh
When
my
I tell you
gosh.
that was probably the biggest adrenaline rush I've ever gotten. Not a good one either. I was like sketched out the rest of the night.
Did the police follow you back to the place?
I think they passed by. We were like, blinds closed, lights off, like peeking, but it was dark, so we couldn't tell.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the person who was drinking wasn't the one driving, right?
No, no, no.
Okay, it was all right. Wow. That's
Yeah.
a interesting situation to be in.
I'll tell you the names after this.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it afterward. That is, I've been pulled over once, and it's because I was talking on my phone. It wasn't even because I was speeding.
That?
Wasn't even. It's there's like a thing in states where it's like hands free. You can't be on your phone at
Oh,
all. And I was driving out of Florida, and I guess they have a hands free thing, and you're not allowed to talk on your phone while you drive. And that's the only thing I've been pulled over for. But obviously, I've never been like pulled over by cops in that kind of scenario, or been I don't know put in handcuffs or something. That's crazy.
yeah, it was scary.
My story's got a lot of backstory to it, so I'll use some pseudonyms for my people in my story as well. So I have a friend who is from Germany, and we'll just stereotype it. We'll call him Hans. And then he had a friend who is a woman who is visiting from Kazakhstan. She's from Kazakhstan, but she lives in Germany. And we will say her name is Hannah, I guess, whatever. So Hannah, backstory on Hannah. Hannah is Hans's friend. Hans lives here, not with me, but the same town. And Hannah lives in Germany, and her job, what she does, is she is a pimp's assistant.
Oh my God.
So the pimp gets her to go recruit girls to do
Oh,
the work. So she finds the talent, or however you want to call
mm,
them. So she makes a lot of money from that, lives off of doing that. So the pimp wanted to marry Hannah because she has citizenship in Germany, and if he marries her, he'll get citizenship to live in Germany.
yeah.
So they got married. I don't know if they got married in they probably I think they got their license or certificate in Germany, but then they came to America and went to Las Vegas for their actual wedding.
Yeah.
So they got quote unquote married in Las Vegas. Another more backstory on this girl Hannah, so you kind of understand what kind of person she's like. She will just do anything for money. She's very like self-centered.
Oh.
Just kind of a kind of person you probably don't want to have in your life. And my friend Hans has talked about her so much in stories that when she got married in Las Vegas, then she's like, "Hey Hans, I'll come stop by where you guys live in North Carolina, and I'll say hello, and we can hang out for like a few days. Like I'll stay for a few days, and then I'll go back to Germany." So when Hans told me this, I was like, "Well, I have to meet her because I've heard so many stories about her. I'm like, there's no way I'm passing up this opportunity." So as I was saying, some more backstory on her. She has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend doesn't know that she's getting married to Hans, or that she
Yikes.
is married to Hans. So here's an example of her lifestyle. I was told that one night the pimp like operates out of a sushi restaurant, and she works at the sushi restaurant, and she was with her boyfriend, and he was like, "I want to get something to eat. I want to go somewhere." And she was like, "Okay, where do you want to go?" And he picked that sushi restaurant. And
Oh.
she was like, "Okay, well, we can go there." And the boyfriend really wasn't feeling good. And he's like, "We'll just go pick it up, and like you can go in and like get the food for me." So, is someone at my door? Okay, I thought I heard somebody talking. So she goes in to get the sushi. The boyfriend's parked outside. She goes into the kitchen to the pimp to go get the food. The two of them have sex in the kitchen. He
Mm.
makes the sushi for them to
Oh
have
my.
for dinner, and then she takes it back to the boyfriend, and the boyfriend, that's what he has for his dinner. And
That's
then
just. Oh my
he's
God.
not feeling good. He's sick. He's laying in bed. So then he's like, "All right, I'm going to go to sleep. I don't feel good." And then after he goes to sleep, she goes on Tinder and is like looking for dates and
Yeah.
matches. She's just wild, bro. Wild.
Uh,
So she comes to visit. I end up seeing them on blah 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 blah. What day was that? Saturday, I believe it was. This past Saturday. So they go get married in Las Vegas. He, I don't know what he does, but he goes and does his own the pimp. I don't know where he goes, but he just gives her like this giant envelope full of American cash, and then she flies to North Carolina, gets here. I meet up with Hans and Hannah on Saturday, and she, if I didn't know all the stuff that Hans had told me about her, you would never think or know anything about her living that lifestyle. Like,
Hmm.
it goes to show, like, don't judge a book by its cover, maybe,
Yeah.
is like, she never went in depth on that stuff when we were there. She never talked about it or brought it up or anything. So I'm assuming it's got to be something she's embarrassed about to some degree, or, she just knows not to bring it up to like everybody. So
Yeah.
we never discussed it, but I would have never, ever, if I hadn't known all that, would have never picked it up from her. So we meet up. We're eating at a place called Cava. If you guys have ever heard of that, it's like Chipotle, but it's Mediterranean instead of what's Cava or Chipotle Mexican? Is that like
Yeah, pretty
Mexican?
much.
Okay, so it's like
Yeah.
it's Cava. Cava is like Chipotle, but it's Mediterranean food. That's one of my all time favorite restaurants. I love Cava. So I'm waiting for them. I wait for like ever. They finally show up. And it's interesting. Like, first of all, her English is surprisingly really good. I guess I'm just naive, as I know English is the international language, and like nearly everybody in every other country speaks it or has to learn it in school. But we're just such entitled, dumb Americans that, like, you get to sixth grade and it's like you take a very small amount of Spanish or French or
Yeah.
something. Like, Hannah told me that I was like, wow, your English is like really good. Like, I'm really impressed. And she was like, oh, yeah, you start learning it in the second grade in Germany. And I was like,
True.
bro, that is,
Probably a lot easier.
yeah, it's got to be way easier because you're starting it from a younger age. Um, but anyway, it was super interesting getting her take on like American things and things that she liked and things that she found interesting. So Hans was like, we're sitting down eating, and Hans is like, Hannah, tell uh, Christian, or I'm not gonna say sick boy because I didn't say that. Tell
Yeah.
Christian like what your favorite thing is in America so far, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I absolutely love Waffle House. That's my favorite place." So they had been there for a day at that point, and in one day they had gone to Waffle House for two different meals. They went for breakfast and then went for lunch, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, the Waffle House Philly cheesesteaks are incredible. I love those." I was like, bro, of everything
Okay.
in America, you
That.
chose Waffle House.
I mean, I
Um,
love Waffle House, but like, I don't get the actual lunch stuff.
yeah, well, their lunch food is good. Like, their a Waffle House burger. If you haven't had that, you're sleeping on it, dude. It's so good. But anyways, so it was just interesting to see her takes, and she was like, "Oh yeah, everybody here is like so nice, and they talk to you." And in Germany, everybody's like keeps to themselves and is quiet, and people aren't as friendly and outgoing, which I can understand, especially being in the South, like Southern
Yeah.
hospitality. So, man, what were some other things she said? Oh, I was like, yeah, I know like a few things in German, and she was like, oh, really? What words? Like, what do you know? And the only stuff I know is like the name of Call of Duty Zombies maps. So she was like, what stuff do you know? And I was like, well, I know Der Eisendrache, and I know Nacht der Untoten. And she was like, oh my gosh, wow! Like she was so impressed, and I'm like, Hannah, this is literally my childhood. Like, I played
Yeah.
Call of Duty Zombies, and then just a few words here and there. And I would like jokingly say stuff to her in German, but I'd say it in like a really heavy American accent, kind of like that
Yeah.
movie Inglorious Bastards. So she'd be like, "Where are we going next?" So I'm like, "Wherever you want to go, Fraulein," or just have like a
Yeah.
silly thick accent. What were some other things she was
Should have
interested
done
in?
the. Should have brought out Wunderwolf.
The Wunderwaffe. I forgot about that. Um, it was just interesting to see her take on like American things, and every single time she would see something, like her only point of reference is watching American TV. So we would
Oh
see
yeah.
like a car or a restaurant, and she'd be like, "Oh, just like the Golden Girls," and I'm like, "Bro,
What?
what?" Or like those are like the really popular TV shows, even though they're old now, that make it over there that people like
Yeah.
base America off of. So like that, Friends. She would see something
Oh
and be like, "Oh, just like Friends." Or what was the other one she did? There was something she was drinking. We had, or I didn't, but we were somewhere where they got alcohol at one point. I can't remember where we were. It wasn't a bar. It was somewhere else. And she was like, "Oh yeah, this makes me feel like I'm in How I Met Your Mother." I'm like, what weird frames
It's a
of
lot of
reference.
sitcoms.
Yeah, a lot of popular American sitcoms that she just bases like all of her experiences. She like that's what she has as her frame of reference. It was so interesting. Um, so we did that, and then I was like, well, because I had gotten done with work on Saturday, like early in the day, and then I went out to Kava with them, and I was like, oh, well, I need to go to the grocery store. So do you want to like experience like the American experience of going to a grocery store? And she was like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. That'd be awesome. Which is so weird hearing somebody say that because it's like I'm just getting my groceries. And to
Yeah.
her, she's like, "Oh, an American grocery store." So we go to a grocery store, and she's just like geeking out over all the stuff there. And then she sees things that are from Germany, where she saw like a pretzel, and she was like, "Oh, this is not a real pretzel." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm very aware, Hannah. Like that's
Yeah.
we don't do it like that here." And then like hamburgers and hot dogs are from Germany too, and
Yeah.
it's funny how like we'll say Munich, and then they'll actually say it the right way, like München or
Uh,
however, I can't even think of how to say it. Or I'll just be like, yeah, I know somebody who's from Frankfurt, and then she's like Frankfurt, and she's like, the accent's perfect and everything. It's just interesting to see the duality of worlds. But we went to the grocery store, and then I wanted to go buy a new pair of AirPods, so we went to a Best Buy a little while afterward, and she was just like, whoa, like a technology store but in America. Like
what?
everything was just like, but it's in America. So then after that I was like, Hans had been saying that he wanted us to get ice cream, and I was like, yeah, like I love ice cream, I'm always down for ice cream. I was like, yeah, I'll get ice cream, where do you guys want to go? And he was like, I don't know, like what would be a cool like American experience? And I was like, well, have you ever heard of a Dairy Queen? And she was like, who is this queen? What, this queen that is dairy? And I was like,
Oh my god.
say less, chief. So we went to this Dairy Queen that is like unknowingly at the time was kind of like ghetto and like in a rough part of town.
Yeah.
So we get to that Dairy Queen, and she's like taking pictures of the Dairy Queen. She's like, "Whoa, this is so cool!" I'm like, bro, it's Dairy Queen. Like, um, so we go to this Dairy Queen. It's a little ghetto, and I get an Oreo Blizzard because that's what you have to get at Dairy Queen. I'm sorry, it's the only acceptable answer. And I was like, "Look, Malika, it's like a thing in America. Like when you get these, like you're supposed to turn them upside down to like show that the ice cream, like is good ice cream and it
Yeah.
stays in the cup or whatever." And she was like, "What do you mean by this?" And I got the cup and I had like a spoon and everything in it. I just turned it upside down, didn't move, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!" Or she was like, "Oh my god!" and then she like got hers and was turning it upside down. I'm like taking pictures of it. She was like, "Look at the ice cream nuts folly." She was like, her mind was blown. So then we're at this Dairy Queen, and like I said, it's in a bad part of town, sort of. And these like really thug ghetto guys pull up, and one dude is driving a Lamborghini, and then another one's driving a Jeep, and they're wrapped similarly, where they're in these like purple chrome, like just really gaudy, ugly. Like you have expensive cars, and you designed them and wrapped them in the
Yeah.
ugliest thing possible. It's like a chrome purple with blue accents, and then it just has like Black Panther Wakanda stuff all over the cars. I wish I could have taken a picture, dude. It was like so beautifully hideous. It was and those guys thought it was tough too. Like they got out of their cars, and they're wearing like Black Panther t-shirts, and like like his suit, like the Black Panther suit. It's like a t-shirt that looks
Yeah.
like the suit,
Oh my
and they just thought they were like the coolest guys ever getting out. So they get out, they get their ice cream, and my expression that I say whenever you see like a really ugly tricked out car or a really tricked out car. So like for that example, like that car pulled up, and I was like, "What in the Rocket League?" Because you know how like people make
yeah.
crazy cars in Rocket League or whatever. So this car comes up, those guys get out, and they're all like kind of chubby, like fat dudes. So it's like it's not even like an athletic, like handsome guy at least or something. It's just like everything is fitting into place together. So these guys get out, they're getting their ice cream, and then a bunch of other cars start pulling up, and then they start making like a car meetup in the Dairy
Uh,
Queen parking lot. And it's these cars where they're like not nice cars. It's like a Dodge Challenger, and then it has
uh,
like a giant sticker on the hood that just says Looney Tunes. It like there's they are so distastefully like wrapped or decorated. It's like we had just enough money to get like a decent car, and then we quote unquote tricked them out. It's like a poor man's mod. It
yeah,
was just like cringe. And so these ugly, like terrible cars pulled up, and of course they're playing like loud, trash rap music. And I'm just trying to sit down with my new German friend and enjoy some ice cream. And I was like, Hannah, I'm sorry, this is not what it's like in America. These are some bums that had to come ruin it. And she, of course, she's just interested to see what's happening. So it's all these super ugly cars that are wrapped really ugly, and it's like a cringe car meetup. This
yeah.
Hummer, this like lime green Hummer pulls up. I kid you not, the doors open and probably 10 clowns get out of the Hummer. It's
What?
like these Halloween like creepy clown costumes, and just all of these like a literal clown car are just like pouring out of this Hummer. Like all these clowns come out, and then they're like taking Instagram photos and stuff like on top of the cars. And there's a dude like walking around in a clown costume, and he's dragging an axe across the asphalt, like an actual axe. And they're trying to like, I guess, role play like RP, like creepy clown. It was so cringe and so lame. I was like, okay, Hans and Hannah, we gotta get out of here. This is like, I've seen enough of this. I was in a position that I couldn't take pictures of these things to prove them or like show them to you or whoever else.
Yeah.
It was just like, what is even happening? Like, I just went to go Dairy Queen. I went to go get Dairy Queen, and there's this cringe clown car meetup that is just like, this is hurting my soul. So we got done with that, and then they were like, yeah, well, we're going to be going to a party tonight if you want to come to the party. And Hans had been telling me that they went to a party last night, and it was like a Latino dance club or something. And he was like, yeah, all these women were twerking on me. And, he's not that kind of guy, like at all. It was just like he's dancing, and then like women were coming up to him and like getting all over him and stuff. And he was like, yeah, we're going to another party tonight. It's not the Latino dance club. It's at somebody's house. So like, if you want to come, like you can. And I'm like, I'm not, I don't want to say I'm not adventurous, but like clubbing and things like that just don't really interest me at all. So I don't participate in them. And I was like, well, this is a house party. It's with people he knows. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'll go. So I went and dropped off my groceries, and then I had to drive out to a neighboring city that is very rural. There's like nothing out there. And this house is way, way, way out there. And I end up getting to the house, and I see a bunch of cars outside, and I'm like, okay, this is I've never been to like a proper like house party before or anything
Yeah.
like that. So I'm like, I have this preconceived notion of what I've seen in movies and TV shows, and I'm expecting this. So, oh, I get there, and thinking, I'm thinking of a Latino dance party from last night. I'm thinking of what I've seen in movies and TV shows. I get there, and the quote unquote party is just a bunch of middle aged white people that are doing karaoke on someone's back porch.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
I drove like 45 minutes, like, oh yeah, first time going to a party. Hans and Hannah are there. Like, this is gonna be something. So then I get there, and then it just ends up being a bunch of drunk white people singing karaoke on the back porch, which was super lame, and it was really cold outside too. And I had driven all the way out there that I couldn't just drive there and be like, nah, I'm a dip and just turn right around like to go back. Like I had to at least stay for a little bit or something. So we,
Yeah.
we go up. They're doing karaoke or whatever. They're trying to get me to go up there and do it. And I'm like, I don't want to do no karaoke. So then finally, I'm getting ready to leave. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I've got to do it. So everybody there is a little bit older. And then Hans and Hannah are my age. And there's another girl whose name was actually Hannah, who was also around our age. So, I love 50s and 60s music, and like Dean Martin is like an old singer from that time period. He sings a lot of Christmas songs that come around Christmas time, Yeah, you'll if you heard him or look him up, you'll know who he is. So I was like, all right, this is gonna separate the men from the boys, and I requested like a Dean Martin song. It's have you ever heard That's Amore? Like when the moon hits your eye. That's
Oh yeah, yeah,
okay.
I've heard that.
So I went up there and I was like, I guess I'll sing that. It's like a crowd favorite. And I went up there and just sang my little heart out. I've never done karaoke before, and I was like so embarrassed, but I was like, I owe it to these people. Like I can't just show up, nobody knows who I am, and then just leave. So I went up there and like gave them a whole performance. And, like everybody's recording me with their phones, and like I know the song so well that I don't need the words to it. So then I was like running around the porch, or not running, but like walking around the porch and like singing in people's faces and stuff. And then when I was done, they were like, "That was the greatest karaoke performance I've seen in my life." And I was like, "Great, I'm leaving." And then I just like
Just drop the mic.
I put down the microphone and left. But another like cute thing from Hannah, German Hannah, is we were at the party and I would say it's a get together. It wasn't a party. We were at this get together and she saw a red Solo cup and she was like, "Oh my gosh, just like the cups in the movies." And then she looked at this lady. She was like, "Where can I find more of these Solo red cups?" And she was like, "Oh, they're out in the garage." And she was just like, it was like cute and like so innocent how she was like, wanted to drink from a red Solo cup super bad. And then I think they gave her a Modelo. They're like, "Here, Hannah, have a Modelo. Like people like these." And I don't even drink beer, and I'm pretty sure people like. Isn't Modelo kind of like it sucks? Or do people like Modelo?
I mean, that's like a Mexican beer. I'm surprised they give a Mexican beer to a German chick.
Yeah, so they gave it to her, and then she started drinking it, and you could tell that she didn't like it, but because she
Yeah.
was there and in the environment, like she had to finish drinking it, or she felt like she had to. And then they gave her Fireball. They gave her like a
Oh
little
God.
glass bottle of Fireball. And they're like, "Here, drink this. You'll like it." And then she drank like a ton of it at once. And then she was like a little kid trying to eat vegetables. And she was just like shaking her head. And she's like, "Bleh, bleh, bleh, bleh." It was kind of funny, just bullying the foreigner. So that was. Go ahead. Good.
I wish I could have saw that performance.
Oh yeah. I don't know if Hans has it on his phone. I don't think he recorded me or anything, but like other people were. I'm wearing like a like I'm expecting a party, so I kind of dressed in like quote unquote cool attire. So I'm wearing like a soccer jersey, and just my outfit did not fit that scene at all. And then I'm singing like an old song from the 50s, and then I'm like a 22-year-old white boy. So it just did not fit at all. And then the microphone was really sucky, and it would have like feedback, like when I'd be like, "That's some more," and then it would start like the feedback, like wow, 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 and
Yeah.
it was bad. But I had to do what I had to do. And then I was getting ready to leave, and they're like, "All right, time for Devil Went Down to Georgia," and I was like, "Ooh, that could have been a song I could have got into. That's a good song." I'm trying to think of any more experiences with the German female. I don't know. Yeah, it was just interesting being with her because she wasn't used to America and how things work. But all that backstory of her and like, oh, and it was a funny, like, obviously she wasn't trying to reveal to me what she does for work. Like she didn't think that I knew. And we were talking about things, and I was like, "Yeah, well, hopefully you can come visit again for another time. Like it's been fun and everything." And she's like, "Yeah, but got to go back to Germany. I got to get back to work." Like sounding like it's a 9 to 5 working in a corporate office, but
Yeah.
it's really
We know it. We know what she does.
we know what's going on there.
Did you ask her where she was in 1930s Germany?
I did not. I tried to hold back the like so much on making Nazi jokes because Hans is
Yeah.
like one of my really good, I would say, best friends, and obviously I'll make like Nazi jokes and things with him. And there was some point something happened where I can't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about people and like what time period you would want to live in, and I said something where I can't wish I could remember what it was. I was like, "Yeah, I think I want to go back to 1945 Germany." And then she just slowly turned her head at me. Like, I mean, she was joking, but and then her being from Kazakhstan, something happened. Once again, I don't remember. I think it was I had just bought my AirPods, and I was walking out of the store, and she was like, "Oh, is that what you wanted? Like, did you get what you wanted?" And I was like, "Yes, great success, very nice." And then she was like completely straight faced, and I was like, "Uh-oh." And she goes, "Yeah, well, you like us people in Kazakhstan, we find that movie incredibly offensive. Like we hate that movie."
Oh.
And I was like, "Really?" Like I thought she would have thought it was funny, and she was like, "I haven't even watched the movie, but there's so much like prejudice against it, or the consensus in Kazakhstan is like it's really offensive and people really don't like it, that it's like if you live in Kazakhstan and you've watched that movie or seen it, you're like frowned upon. It's like
Good
very
lord.
disgraceful, I guess. So I was like talking as Blair. I was like, very nice, okay. And then she was like, no, I don't do that. That was the only thing where I was like, oh, okay.
But
That's
when
not.
they do the stupid American accent, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried explaining to her the movie. I was like, well, it's not really a guy from Kazakhstan. It's like a dude who pretends he's from there to say he's like a very naive foreigner, and then he plays pranks on people in America pretending he's from somewhere else. And she was like, "Oh, okay, well, doesn't sound so bad." So maybe she'll watch the movie and wisen up.
Isn't like the second one he like goes to Kazakhstan?
I don't remember. I think I started the second one and then didn't finish it. The first one's pretty good. It's like very raw and like scuffed, which is what makes it good. And the second one feels like a movie, like they're trying to shoot a movie. So it's like it's just not the same. And it's so popular that when he goes out to do the pranks or talk to people, everybody knows who he is. So he can't really do the job.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, all that to say that this past weekend I met a pimp.
That is one hell of a weekend.
Yeah, that was just in one day. I'm trying to think of. I really have not had a ton of interesting stuff happen lately. Like I said, I have like nothing in my notes because just haven't had anything show up in the week where I'm like, oh, that was funny, or that's something worth talking about. I was actually thinking about doing a podcast where we did like I don't know, some kind of like, what am I trying to say here? Like reading stories on Reddit, or like would you
Yeah.
rather on Reddit or something like that. But I feel like that'd be something better for more people. If we had like three or four of us, I feel like the two of us just doing
Yeah.
would you rather's for an hour for a podcast would get old quickly. So maybe next week we'll try to have an episode where we have multiple people on or something, and we can do that.
Is there any world news, any breaking news that has happened?
I saw something recently that Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, I think MSNBC put out a poll that they're exactly even right now.
That
It's 48 to
crazy.
48. So it's crazy to think that election day is less than a month away. Um, Other big world news. I mean, there was the hurricane that happened. My dad was in Florida. They were all right. I got sent pictures, and my dad didn't seem super worried about it, so I wasn't worried about it. And then when he was sending me pictures of everything, it's bad, dude.
Loaded.
Same thing with like Asheville, like the Western Carolinas. Like, yeah, I know it sounds like, people tell me it's bad, but how bad is it really? And then when you see the pictures and videos, it's like, oh, that's really not good.
Yeah,
Um,
it hit hard.
Before this podcast, I was editing my video for this week that I'm not super confident in. I was really looking forward to the idea, and it was one that I guess you could say stole or took inspiration from or whatever from another channel that I like who do it, and it's a fun video and it's always really good. And it was with me and Exo Penguin. I'm not saying that he didn't do a good job or that he was the reason for it not being good or anything. I think my problem was I went into it with an expectation because I already know what that sort of video is like from the channel that I watch it on. So I was trying to like recreate that instead of just doing it on my own terms and doing it my own way and just letting it happen. I
Uh,
felt like I was trying to guide the video in a direction. Does that make sense?
yeah. Is that what you texted me about Saturday?
Yeah, I was gonna try to do it with him today, but then I was able to have time on the weekend. He had a small time frame, and we were able to knock it out. I mean, every time I've made a video where I'm like, I think this kind of sucks. I'm not really happy with this. It ends up being one of my best performing videos. So
Yeah.
this could happen with this video, or this one will flop and not do very well. The premise was good. The thought behind it was good. It's not. I know Penguin listens to our podcast. I'm not saying it's your fault at all. Penguin's fault at all. I don't know. Maybe if I had put some better preparation into it. I also tried to not explain it to him. Like I wanted to surprise him with it. and I think that kind of had things get lost in translation as well. So, lesson learned.
I saw you're on a bit of a streak video wise, besides the 100 subscriber video.
Yeah, I'm starting to get consistently over 100 views. I definitely feel like the transition from gaming to just more variety stuff is the right direction and the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Those videos are performing a lot better and getting more comments on them and things. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's just, like any YouTuber would say, it's like, you got to think of ideas. And I think I've done a pretty good job of coming up with ideas recently. But then I have some where it's like I would need another person to help me do it. And I don't have anybody to do that. And then also, like, not that I'm planning on blowing a ton of money or something, but then some ideas cost a certain amount of money. And do I have time to do it? And logistically, does it make sense? And I have I'm editing the video coming out this Friday, which is what, the 18th, 17th, something like that.
Yeah, something like
Um, that hopefully it goes well. Maybe I can put some extra razzle dazzle on it with editing. Um, then I have two more ideas that I want to do that are somewhat in the same realm. Like they're two different kinds of videos. Actually, they're okay. So here's what I was gonna do. So for my last video of October, I wanted to go buy like a bunch of Halloween and October exclusive like treats and drinks. I think I've
yeah.
already talked about this. I wanted to sample them and try them and like rate them on how good I thought they were or whatever. And then for my first video of November, I'm going to Greenville, South Carolina to visit family and spend time there this coming up weekend, actually. And there's a soda store there that is called Rocket Fizz, and they have like 1,000. I might have talked about this on the podcast already as well. They have like
Dude,
1,000 different flavors, and I wanted to get like the most cursed soda flavors. So get like buffalo chicken soda, ranch soda, and then make like ice cream floats out of them. Just pick like the 5 most absolute horse nuts flavors and then make ice cream floats out of them and like react to it and try them. And I was going to try to incorporate some kind of thing with like a coin flip of like, I'll flip a quarter and it's like I either have to take one bite of it or I have to like finish the whole thing.
oh,
Something like that to kind of like make it interesting and put a little extra something to it. And it's like, I think those are two good video ideas, and I like the sound of those ideas. But is it weird that they're both food tasting ideas, like back to back food eating videos? Is that weird?
I don't think it's weird. It just happens to be back to back.
Okay. I kind of felt like it would, I don't know, it would be strange that it would be back to back like food idea videos, but I feel like those are fun videos to do because like an authentic reaction of eating something and, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I'm still
Yeah.
deciding if I want to do it or not. And there's like different things I want to do where I want to like take out a camera somewhere and like vlog me doing stuff or different scenarios, but it's just kind of hard to do that by yourself, and then especially when your character wears a ski mask. So I feel like I need to add something to the ski mask to make it like less menacing. Like I don't know if I need to like always wear a hat with it, or maybe I need to put like some funky like design on the outside of it or something. But in my current state, like if I wore a black t-shirt, jeans, and then that mask and like walked into a gas station, it looked like I'm robbing it. Like
Yeah.
I need to add something to it that's more disarming to, be able to film stuff in public. So I don't know. Another idea I had was and like all these cost money too. If I want to make these videos, and it's not like I'm making money off the videos right now. It doesn't, necessarily make sense to put money into them to not be getting anything back at the moment, but kind of make like like crazy Hot Wheels tracks. Just make like a crazy, things like that where it's like I can bring the camera along with me and like, me and the viewers are going on a journey together. Something to that extent. So we will see.
You know, there's a video we still need to do that could get interesting.
What?
Just a big Uno, or not a big game, but just an Uno game.
Oh yeah, that would be a fun one to do. I think I have Uno. I had it on my Xbox, but I think I might have it for PC. Or if I don't, it's like $10 or something. It's not
Yeah.
expensive. Oh man, what to do? What to do? Have you heard how bad the new Joker movie is?
Yeah, I was worried just because they said it was a musical, and I guess my worries were rightfully so.
I don't like musicals, but there's certain musical movies where I'm like, you know what, I could get around that. Like The Sound of Music. It's an old movie from the '60s. Those of you who know it, if you know, you know. That's a really good movie. Like the singing in it just makes sense. La La Land with Ryan Gosling and Emma
Oh, Emma
Stone.
Stone.
It's another really good movie. Another really old singing, dancing movie, Singing on the Rain, Dancing on the Rain, Singing on the Rain. That one's a very fun, like joyous, good time. So there was a part of me where I was like, okay, well, it's a Joker Batman universe. I'm sure they could figure out some way to balance it. And then they're putting in Lady Gaga, and it can't be as bad as I think it could be. And
It was apparently.
wow, yeah, really, really, really bad. I want to watch it. I'm not going to spend the money to go to the movie theater to watch it, but I want to watch it just so I can really understand how bad it actually is. But then also, like, I don't want to waste 45 minutes of my life, getting into it and then be like, wow, this is really bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you hear about the controversial ending? I got spoiled to it just scrolling through shorts.
Okay, well, spoilers ahead, I guess. What's the ending?
The Arthur Flex back in Arkham, and apparently it's like a whole thing where he's like, "I'm not the Joker anymore," and some patient comes over and kills him and carves a smile in his face, and you don't see who it is, but apparently that's the Joker.
Bro.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what was all? Why are we watching this dude then?
Yeah, what was
Why
even the
like
point?
he just he inspired the real Joker. Well, why didn't we have a movie about him then?
Yeah, and then the whole thing with him and, like, Bruce Wayne and.
Yeah, like,
Dude,
oh my god,
Todd Phillips with an absolutely historic fumble, making one of
dropped the
the
ball.
best, like actual best movies of all time, and then thinking, I'm gonna make a second one. I'm gonna make it a musical, and then just
Not even,
absolutely destroying it.
not even on like some superhero shit. It was just a really good movie. It's like a thinker, and then the sequel's just a stinker. I mean,
A thinker and a stinker. Crawdaddy said it here first. I want to see the new Beetlejuice movie.
yeah, I'm waiting for that to come out on HBO.
I saw it for the first time with my fiance last year, 2 years ago.
I watched it first, the first one recently too.
Yeah, it's a good movie. There's a part in it where he does something and he goes, "Do you like it?" And
Yeah,
me and my fiance quote that all the time. Like if I'm getting dressed for an occasion, we're going out somewhere. Like I'll turn around and be like, "Do you like it?" And we'll always say that. It's like an entertaining movie.
the juice is deuce.
Yeah, yeah. Michael Keaton. It's so weird knowing him from other movies, and then seeing him do such like a wild, silly character
Yeah,
is, interesting to see that.
I mean, at that point, he could have played the Joker in his own Batman movie.
Oh my dude, that would have been just someone needs to have the balls to make a movie where there's like 10 characters and then one person plays every character.
Oh, save on that budget.
Dude, that would be hilarious. That'd be such an interesting movie. There's a speaking on like interesting experimental films. There's a movie for those of you who know the YouTuber Video Game Donkey, one of the biggest ones ever. He did like a movie review of this movie. It's called like, oh man, Toys in Paris, something really weird, and the whole movie is kind of like an experimental shot one where um it's like everything kind of borders on reality and like
Hmm.
silliness. So for an example, it would be like, maybe they're showing a shot of someone pulling up to the front door of a building, and it's like, oh, here comes Ted in the car, and it's like a guy being driven in a car, but like there's a driver in front of him, he's in the back seat, but they're both holding on to like a cardboard cutout of a car. So it's like silly stuff like that, but they just treat it like it's completely normal, if that sort of makes sense. It's really hard to explain it. I have to look it up now because I sound like I'm off my medication. Let me see here.
It sounds like
Video
someone,
game
I don't even know, that
donkey.
sounds like a crazy person wrote that script. But I get the point.
Yeah. Oh, it's called
Experimental.
Playtime. It's called
Uh,
Playtime. If you guys are ever able to watch that, it's really really interesting. And it's like I feel like there's not enough just silly movies anymore. Like Monty Python type stuff
oh
or
yeah.
like Pink Panther, just like silly, nonsensical, funny stuff. Like Grown Ups is like funny, but they have like the dirty jokes and then this, that, and the other. But just like silly, like G-rated, nonsensical movies. I feel like we need a resurgence of those. Like Monty Python stuff is so smart and so funny, and it's so simple. And like the Pink Panther movies with Steve Martin and what's the Cliche? Is it Martin Cliche? The his like what is it? Who's the guy that's in charge of a police station? What's that called? Not a
I,
deputy.
I have no idea.
Is it a deputy? I don't know. His
Oh,
like
in charge of the police station?
yeah.
I'm like a sheriff or the chief?
Yeah, his chief is like John Cliche. Is it John or Cliche? I think it's John Cliche. The Steve Martin. It's a really good movie. Bring back
Hmm.
the silly movies. I need them. I miss
Speaking
them.
of experimental movies, and since it's Halloween, have you seen the Blair Witch Project?
I have never seen it. That's
That is a scary ass movie.
is it really?
Yeah, and that's like kind of experimentally shot. Like it's shot like a documentary, and like the people that filmed it, it's just the actors, and they
Yeah.
were in the woods for days, and like the film people would like airdrop stuff in the night, and they would like just find it, and like oh my lord,
So I like to know like a lot about everything. Like I don't like feeling left out on stuff. I like to I've talked before, there's so many video games that I've never played, but I know like almost everything about them. The Blair Witch Project and how the movie was shot and everything about it is like I've never seen the movie, but I know everything about it. And that's a super interesting movie. I've not watched it myself. It doesn't look scary to me, but that's me who
it's
knows everything about it. And you watched it not knowing anything, so
yeah.
that's like two different.
It's like a eerie scary because it seems so real. Like you know it's fake, but like it's so real and like oh my lord.
Yeah, it's like a found footage thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've heard a bunch of stuff about how the movie was shot. I think there was, I don't know if it was this movie, but it was something like they did an advertising campaign for it where they made it seem like the whole thing was real. Like they said that the
Oh,
actors were
it was that movie.
missing. Yeah, they said the actors were missing. And then after the movie came out, like they had to agree on a contract that they couldn't show their faces for a year so that people thought they
Yeah.
were really missing to like go along with the movie. And so you watched the movie, right?
Yes.
I've heard a theory, like film theory, like game theory and all
Mm-hmm.
that. Matt Pat had a theory where if you go back and watch it, and maybe you watch this film theory video tonight or wherever, and you might agree that you could come to the conclusion that the guys took her out to the woods to kill her because there's so many instances where they're like, "Oh, I lost the map," or "Oh, I forgot what was
Oh
happening,"
yeah.
and then at the end, she's like the one that dies at the end. Like one of them like runs away to a room or something, and
Yeah.
then like she ends up being,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know the picture, and it's. I've not watched that movie. Is so scary. I don't want to watch it again. Like it's. I don't know. I don't believe
yeah,
in ghosts and all that, but it was so freaky, man.
it's too real. Isn't there a
Are
second
you
one?
gonna? I don't know. If they did make a second, I don't think they should have made a second one because it should have just been a standalone thing.
I'm pretty sure there's a second one, like a prequel or something.
Are you gonna see Terrifier 3?
Um,
Or just wait till
I
it comes out
mean, yeah,
on
I'll,
streaming?
I'll wait to find it on something. I actually had a conversation with Penguin about this, that he was talking about how bad that movie is, like from a filmmaker's point of view. Like it is a really bad, poorly made movie. But I guess I'm a freak. I have some kind of mental disability. I just love gory movies, like the Halloween movies, Jurassic
Yeah.
Park, when like people are getting ripped apart by dinosaurs. Like I know that it's fake, so that's why it's fun to watch. And especially Terrifier, it's like so over the top that it's like funny, or I don't know, just it's not scary. If it, like you look forward to like, oh, how's he gonna kill this person next? I had
I mean, Ar-
Penguin. Go ahead.
Art is a funny clown.
I had a Penguin already saw it, and he told me that the movie was really, really bad. And he explained the plot to me, and the plot sounds really, really bad. But I still want to watch it just to see how he kills people.
It has 77 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that's just personal preference. The first one I liked it because it was like so just what am I even watching? And then the second one felt more like a movie, like it felt more professionally shot. And even then, I would still say the plot was kind of, if we're nitpicking it, it was still kind of like, okay, whatever. And
Yeah.
then the third one, do you know anything about the third one?
I just know like the front pictures like in Christmas.
Yeah, it just takes place during Christmas time. I won't talk too much more about it then. I didn't even know it existed until, what was that, Saturday or Sunday that him and I recorded and he told me about it.
Dude,
I had no idea there was a Terrifier 3.
the way I look at Terrifier movies is that it's like made in the way like old slashers are made. It's just fun killing.
Yeah,
Dude, like it's
yeah.
not plot driven. It's for the people.
That's why I love like the 3 new Halloween movies, even though they get progressively worse. Like
Yeah.
the 2017 Halloween movie might be my favorite horror movie of all time. Just
Dude,
just him killing a bunch of
same.
people. It's such a good
So
movie.
good. Then they ruined it with the third.
Yeah, the third one
They went weird.
yeah, it was awful. But my favorite line from the 2017 one is when the dad's in the kitchen and he's doing the mousetrap and he's like,
Oh
"Oh, I
yeah,
got
no
peanut
peanut butter
butter
on my
on my
bacon.
penis." Yeah, yeah, it's so
Oh,
funny. And then his head gets turned into a pumpkin.
yeah, Michael Myers is definitely my favorite.
Oh
Like
yeah,
80s slasher. He just is pure just slasher boogeyman.
I don't know if you've seen it, but another one of my favorite horror movies is it's called Smile. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, we're like yeah.
Have you seen it or no?
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
That one's not. I wouldn't say it's too like jump scare scary. It's like more of a thriller, suspenseful, and that's a really good one. I think there's supposed to be a second one coming out. And then I just recently watched a movie called Ready or Not that is so good. It's like a scary movie, but it's funny. It's not like the what are those ones? It's not like a scary movie, scary like where it's just do you know what I'm talking about? Like a funny, like a comedy movie. It's
Is
not.
that like when the bride is like fighting off the in-laws in the house?
Yes, dude. Yeah. So the way the movie goes, once again, it's quote unquote a scary movie, but it's funny. It's like satirically funny. Is she gets married to this guy, and their family like history is they made their money selling board games. So every time someone marries into the family, they have to draw a card of a game to play. And then I think you have to win the game or just play the game. Some of them you have to win or whatever. And then you get to be a part of the family. So her and the guy get married. They at midnight she has to go draw a card, and she gets hide and seek. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody else, but it's a really really good movie. It's not a scary movie. Like you're not going to get jump scared and be afraid watching it. It's like a horror themed movie that is satirically funny. I believe it's on. I saw it on maybe Hulu or Disney Plus or something, because Hulu can is on Disney Plus technically. You could find it however you find it, your streaming websites or whatever. It's a really really good movie.
I'll have to look into it.
My parents watched it like a maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I remember my dad telling me about it. He was like, "That was a good movie. You should watch that." And I was like, "All right, Dad, whatever." And then the other night, I've been trying to watch scary movies to get in the mood for Halloween, and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll turn it on, see what happens." And I was pleasantly surprised. It was a good movie. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to, but it's kind of its own
Uh,
thing.
it's because I've seen the kill count on it. I kind of know like the plot. It's kind of like that. In the sense of like the family stuff. Is that what was it like the black guy marrying into the white family and they're all crazy and they want to fuck what are they like
Us
do like
or
yeah is
Get
that what it
Out?
is like they
Oh, it's
yeah
Get
get
Out.
out get
Get
out
Out.
get
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess it's not
in that
exactly
sense
like that, but it's
or like the
similar. Yeah.
family stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Um I actually take back what I said earlier about silly movies. If there's 2 new like silly comedy movies that you want to watch, Bullet Train,
Oh
which
yeah.
isn't super new. That's like maybe 3 or 4 years old now. Bullet Train is like a fun, silly movie. and Everything Everywhere All at Once is another fun, silly movie. I would highly recommend you watch the two of those movies if you're interested. If you're a movie fella or gal, whatever you may be.
Can't discriminate.
I will not. I've been thinking lately, I think I'm getting into my 2 week Minecraft addiction.
Oh no.
I've been thinking about it heavy lately, bro. I mean, I don't have a ton of time to play video games anymore, but I've really been contemplating booting up Bedrock or Java, whichever one it is.
I wish I could join you.
I've got the itch. I need
Oh
to
no.
I need to get back on. It needs to be satisfied. I was listening to I have the Minecraft vinyl, like the record that plays I think it's album alpha or beta. It's the one that's the grass block that what is that? C14, C418, the company that makes the music, the band, the group, whatever.
I have no idea.
I was listening to, I think it's C418. That sounds right for some reason. But I was listening to it on my record player the other day, and just the nostalgia, I was like, yeah, might be that time. Might be time
Here
to
we
get
go
back to
again.
my 2 week obsession. How many Minecraft survival worlds do you think you started and not finished?
Not finished?
Yeah.
Define finish. Ender Dragon finish?
Yeah, like Ender Dragon, you get the credits finish
It's definitely in the 100 mark.
of ones you've started and not finished.
Yeah.
I can think I really I can think of maybe one that we actually started and finished on Xbox when it was like you, me, Jared, Dylan, and we like actually played that and finished it. I don't know if I've ever done it on my own.
Cool. Talking about when I had like the zoo in my house, panda.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was a good world with the big sheep
Yeah, yeah, that
and the
was
hobbit house.
dang, bro. Got me
I
reminiscing.
dragged that panda across a desert.
That's right. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
I got lost for like a week in Minecraft days and had to like navigate my way back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was funny. Dang, man. Minecraft
Good times.
really started it. Oh, I watched like a video essay on Halo today,
Uh-huh.
and I've never been like a huge Halo guy. I don't think people understand like how much Halo laid the groundwork for today's video games.
Oh yeah.
Like I
Well,
never went in depth on learning about it, and dude, we owe Halo a lot.
yeah, they like pretty much established like the first person shooter kind of stuff.
Yeah, they like the first person shooter, how the analog sticks on a controller aim, because it used to be
Yeah.
that both sticks did the same things. That's why it was like impossible to shoot people. And then the left stick is, what is it, left and right, and then right stick, up and down.
Yeah.
And it was like the Wild West before they came in, and how like the first three Halo games are the Holy Trinity. I had no idea about any of that.
Did you watch the same Penguin Zero video as I did?
No, it wasn't a Penguin Zero video. It's this guy who I've been watching a lot of his videos. His name's Big Boss, and he makes like kind of meme video essay videos. I actually have it on my phone right here. It's called The Rise and Fall of Halo by Big Boss.
Oh,
Big shout out to him, dude. His videos are really, really good. He's the kind of channel that I found him, watched one video, and then in that same day went and watched through his entire channel and watched all the videos.
do you want to know a fun fact?
Tell me.
Minecraft's working.
Oh, really?
I literally was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it again, and it just downloaded straight away and like signed in with everything.
Maybe we'll revive our Minecraft series that's been dead for almost a year.
Yeah. Oh, forgot about that.
We started a world in like a Minecraft playthrough series, like when I first started making YouTube videos, and our world was Uzbekistan. Like we were just the country of Uzbekistan, and we just committed a genocide against every squid that we saw.
Yeah, got the oil,
And
man.
yeah, because we're Americans and we want that sweet, sweet oil.
Uh-huh.
And Tyler's Minecraft for whatever reasons stopped working, so we haven't played it in forever. And we have like this sucky little wooden hut that we live in.
Hey, that is a nice wooden hut
It's okay. It's passable, is what I would say.
on the island.
Yep, on our island. We have to get back to that. I'll try to, man, if we got some free time, we gotta play some Minecraft. I've been in the mood. I got the itch.
Dude, they've added so much stuff to like the armadillos and they add like wolf armor too.
Okay, I didn't know anything about that.
The yearly update, even though this game is very easy to like actually program.
Dang, man, Minecraft stays strong. That's got to
Yeah,
be the only thing that I could think of pushing Minecraft out of relevance is GTA 6.
oh yeah. Well, it wouldn't be fully out of relevance.
Minecraft is so big. Fortnite.
Yeah.
I'm I know this is like such an old head statement, but I'm happy I grew up in the time before Fortnite. Like gaming was just different then. And then, there'll be people who are like, "Oh, I'm happy I grew up playing RuneScape." Everybody has their
Yeah.
generation or whatever, but I'm happy my generation growing up playing video games, my gateway drug was Minecraft. Actually, my gateway drug was Terraria, but I'm happy Minecraft played a big role in that.
I hate the battle passes that plague the world now.
Yeah, thanks Fortnite.
Yeah.
Well, we have gotten to our hour mark. So, Crawdaddy, you got any closing statements before we are done for the evening?
R.I.P. Petey.
R.I.P. Petey, per usual. Don't forget it. Fly high.
Mm-mm.
New video Friday. Podcast out Friday. That's all I have to
Yes.
say. Enjoy your spooky season, fellas. Until next time. See ya.
See ya.